There we go.
Hello and welcome everyone to Geek Vice. Episode number 35 is a podcast by a few geeks just trying to be heard in a world not flooded with geeks. This is John Guzman, your host. My claim to fame in the geek world is gonna probably have to be something else. Actually, no, I'm still the guild leader of Reloaded, but I'm taking a little break from actually raid leading for a while, and we'll talk more about that later. And I play when I play WoW, I play it in Whisperwind US, but more about that later. And as every night that we manage to record, I have Mr. Morph with me, the bartender for the zombie apocalypse. Today, broadcasting from a different room in his house.
I am. I am. I'm in
He's
the
showing
kitchen
off the curtains.
trying to change it up a little bit.
Is Trevor listening to our podcast transmission live today?
I have
Uh,
no idea.
I don't think if he is, he's not showing up online on my thing.
And the other person that actually does know Trevor as well is Mr. Kibb, a man boldly going from the couch to the kitchen and back again. How are you tonight, Mr. Buddha Bear?
I am doing okie dokie.
So,
Yay.
yay. I guess we should get it out of the way so that I can get my rant out of the way. I and not to get too
Just
deep
spit it
into
out there.
not to get too deep into the story of life, but I want to say about a good 4 years ago or 5 years ago, um, just about the time that I started playing WoW. I didn't play WoW for a long time. I had people actually try to get me to play Ultima Online at work. I actually had somebody try to get me to play EverQuest before that, and I always just resisted the urge. But I had a couple of people being very, very pushy towards you really gotta, you know, do Ultima Online. I think the guy was like a dragon tamer or something, and I can tame dragons, and then you can sell them on the internet on eBay for real money. And I'm like, no, that's cool. And back then I saw WoW, and I actually like checked out the interface, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. It looks a little complicated, but it's kind of cool. But I'm like, no, I'm never gonna play these games. So back to about 5 years ago, when I started playing the game, I started to realize something about myself, which is that I tend to get into things, and I tend to like to collaborate, like what we're doing in this podcast. One, if I was doing I did a podcast before, but if I'm doing a podcast by myself, it's not as enjoyable if I do it, with other people. But then when you do things with other people, you have to deal with, you know, them being involved in it, and having to show up on time, having to do things and everything else. Not that you guys are horrible, but we do run into our late. Somebody doesn't show up because of traffic, et cetera, et cetera.
Not my fault.
Because construction happens. Actually, I was stuck on freaking 435 today because they closed one of the streets. It was an overall awesome day. So anyway, I started to realize that I'm one of those people that seems to put way too much effort into things, probably more effort than the other people put into things. So that's why when we started this podcast, I told Kip, you're gonna be the producer, you're gonna be the one posting this stuff, you're gonna be the one handling the social media stuff, because I can't do it. If I do it, I know I'll get burnt out. I'll get totally overwhelmed, and I will not be effective on it. And hey, welcome episode 35. But I tend to do the same thing on a lot of things. Like I'm the one that calls my friends. I'm the one that um, takes the initiative on a lot of things, and I do that with WoW and with the whole Ray leading thing. And I think on sometimes probably too much, but if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. So and I'm happy doing it. And I enjoy doing it. I enjoy to playing with the people that I play with. But this week I finally lost it. I So one of the things that is tricky about this game is that you when you're raiding you have to get, in this case we're doing 25 men, so you got to get 24 other people on the same page to, number one, show up on time, show up ready, and just getting things done. Last week we did amazing. We started like 15 minutes early. We got a ton of shit done. We actually just rocked. This week we started, and everybody wasn't there, but we were getting pretty close. And in the game, you can send whispers. So I started getting the whispers that I always get, like, "Oh, I'm tired today. I'm not gonna be able to raid the whole night." And we have a set schedule. This is the time that you're gonna be doing this. So I started getting those whispers and everything else, and we killed the first boss, and this is when I just completely lost it. People start bitching about, like, the gold and the loot that drops. So the loot, the items that drop, that's what people pretty much raid for, so that they can get shit. And there's, like, different nuances of the things that you can get. But when you don't have everybody from your normal group, you bring up, quote unquote, strangers or friends of friends. And if they end up getting something, just because you distribute loot based on a roll system. So if somebody rolled the dice and is higher than yours, they should get it. They participated, they killed the boss, and it's a complicated thing. You can never please everybody. It's like 24 people trying to go for the same stupid thing, and then it's like a piñata of adults fighting over stupid shit. That's the only thing that I can kind of equate it for you guys that don't play WoW. And somebody started bitching about something, and I just lost it. I'm like, you know what? You guys have fun tonight. You guys go do the raid if you can. Replace me, have somebody else play. I'm gonna have to take a break from this game because I'm just so tired of people just fighting over freaking pixels on a stupid video game instead of, like, enjoying the actual game and enjoying actually killing the bosses or whatever. And it's just all about those fucking little pixels on the internet. It's just, I don't get it. It broke me.
I'll tell you right now, that's the primary reason why I don't play online games. Is people are juvenile, and they're even more juvenile when they don't have to answer to anyone. And on the internet, they're anonymous and nobody actually knows who they are, so they're even more juvenile and petty and stupid, and they fight over things and they throw fits and they, throw people under the bus. They don't treat people with respect. They don't play the games for fun. They play the games for their own personal benefit. And it's like, you know what? This is just a video game that people are going out having a good time playing. Why do you have to go and be a troll? Why do you have to be an asshole?
I don't get it. I really don't. And, like I said, it's almost unfair because I want to say about, let's say, out of 25 people, there's 20 people that are exceptional and nice and really cool to do this with. And for those 20 people, I do it. But the other 4 or 5 people that are always causing the problems, I had to step away because we do have a guild, and I was getting to the point where I was gonna start just fucking kicking people out of the guild and just being like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're not bringing anything to the table but problems. So I'm just like, I'm going to step away from the keyboard. I'm going to step away from the game and just have a relaxing night.
It is probably smart. And just for the record there, it was Guzman dropping 5 F-bombs there. Way to go, Loktar.
Yay!
Not that a word.
I think that's a new Geek Vice record right there.
And I don't know what it is. It could be that, like, my mom is in the middle more. I can deal with the childishness and the non-reciprocal stuff of doing crap for other people when they don't do shit for you.
Completely agree. Walk away.
Sounds like you need to start doing some meditation to relax.
Should start playing more board games.
Yeah, I think board games might be the thing. Either that or I need to start drinking.
Drinking with board games, that always works.
Now, the other thing is that I do need to start, like working out seriously. Like I'm actually gonna make sure that I always keep my gym bag packed and in the car, so that if I have an opportunity to go after work, I'll just hit the gym and do more positive shit. Like this weekend was actually really cool because we actually worked on our garden, like our vegetable garden, quite a bit, and that was actually pretty relaxing and pretty rewarding. You get up in the morning and you tend to your garden, weeds just grow crazy everywhere, and that was a lot more rewarding than like doing the same shit in a video game, like Farmville or something.
Hey, don't bash Farmville.
Why
Do you
not?
gotta go tend your crops or?
No, I don't play that game.
So anyway, that's my rant, and I'm taking a break from raid leading for a while. So
Does that mean you've given up WoW for a little while, or does that mean there's still other stuff for you to do that isn't raid leading?
there's other stuff, but I really don't play the game all that much anymore besides raid leading. I want to say in the last year or so, I enjoy playing. I enjoy playing with my friends. So I like 5-man content probably the best. And most of the time, my friends are not online at the same time that I'm on. So like I only get on when we're gonna raid, which is 2 nights a week, and that's it.
Mm.
So I can pop here and there sometimes, or like if my significant other wants to do something again, I'll help out or whatever. But I really don't play the game as much as I used to, or don't get as much out of the other things in the game. Like I'm not really into PvP because the cool thing is to get in there with some friends and just kind of like chat while you're doing something. And I don't know, I'm not getting as much out of it as I used to, I guess. And I keep doing it because there's, like I said, 20 people that are pretty appreciative of what I'm doing and everything else. But I don't know, if there was a way to keep the social relationships going without having to play the game, I would probably do that more. I think I'm just kind of getting burnt out on the game itself. Maybe. I don't know. Like if you guys were playing, I would probably be more into it. But since I don't have anybody to go and do stuff with most of the time, it's just kind of like, I've done everything that there is to do for now.
That's too bad. There are times when I play Call of Duty that I get that same feeling. It's like, yeah, I've been here, done that. Oh, see what's on TV. That kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the same feeling. It's the content eventually gets stale, and I think that WoW has not reached that level for me, and I think it finally has. I think this last raid tier that they put together didn't have so WoW or not WoW, any video game for me that uses the same color palette for a whole area really, really bores me. So they did, I think last year, well, not last year, last expansion, they did a raid called Firelands, and everything was freaking orange. Everything, the bosses
Ouch.
were orange. Everything was on fire. So, like, you went in there and your eyes just hurt from all the orange. And this one, the last raid on this expansion is kind of undergroundish. So everything is brown and earth-like and dark, and it's like, same box all over the place. It's got little spikes. It just, and don't get me wrong, I'm not doing justice to probably all the work. Like, if we ever get a Blizzard artist, it's probably like, I put so much effort into that box, and that cuss sticking out of something, and I'm like pooping on his work, but it just looks brown. It just looks brown to me. I don't see the detail. And, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I'm gonna start by taking a break for a couple of weeks. I'm gonna be out of town and on business anyway, so I'm gonna take a break for a couple of weeks and see how I feel afterwards. And I don't know. It might be time for me to just move on altogether, or we'll see. Or maybe after 2 weeks, I'm like, all right, I purged the demons and I'm ready to go again.
Well, in your break, you can try out this game called A Wolf Among Us. I think you'll really like the story in that.
Did you bring that up before?
I have, and it's one of those episodic adventures that Telltale Games does, and the fourth episode just came out over the weekend, and I've got it downloaded, but I haven't had time to start it yet. So I plan on starting that this weekend and giving that a shot. But the story's just really good, and that's what that game's about. That game's not it's not an action adventure type game. It's all about the story. So it give you a nice little. It's completely different from World of Warcraft, so it give you a nice little break.
Possibly. It's got potential.
He doesn't sound convinced.
No, like I said, I pretty much hate the world right now.
Well, I can't argue with that.
As he opens a beer.
All right, so let's see. Which one of the two topics is actually longer?
Which one of the two's longer?
Yeah. I want to see if I want to go into Kip's topic. Actually, yeah, let's because this is beating up on Morph, so I like that. So,
everybody likes that.
So go ahead, Mr. Kip. Tell us how gaming at work is going on.
Well, we've been trying to get in more gaming and going out to lunch less. So a few of us have been playing some games. Today we played Flapjacks and Sasquatches. The designer of that game has actually been on this podcast, and we've talked with him. But today, unlike any other day, I actually won some games. I won both games we played today, which is unusual. Mostly because Trevor took every action he could that hurt Morph and did it. Morph pretty much had the second game won, and Trevor played the perfect card and snatched victory right out of his hands and allowed me to win the game. It was beautiful. The premise of the game is you have cards that allow you to chop down a tree. You draw a card that has a tree on it. You have these other cards that let you take actions, like one's an axe, one's a set of gloves. They have things like blisters that you could play on somebody that takes away their ability to chop down a tree. And Morph had a great big tree that was worth a lot of points that would have put him over the top. Trevor played a card that was called Beavers that ate his tree and took it away from him, and then I snuck in for the victory. I loved every minute of it.
No, it was not cool.
It was beautiful. What are you talking about?
No, it was not cool, and I think somehow I muted Logtar, and I don't know what I did.
Oh, sweet.
Or is he muted on your end?
It says he's muted. What'd you do?
I don't know. Can you unmute him? I was just pushing buttons, and apparently I muted him.
Great.
Logtar, can you hear us? Can you unmute yourself?
I did it.
Oh, there. He's back with his windy microphone.
Logtar, are you there?
Are you you in a wind tunnel?
I think he stepped away, so
Oh, that would explain why his mic's all windy. He's probably walking around with it on.
so I muted him.
No, I didn't like getting pwned in Flapjacks and Sasquatches.
Yes, you did. Yes,
the first
you
game-
did.
Now, I will give you credit. The first game, you walked away with handedly. I mean, you had all the right rolls in that game. The second game was mine. That was mine.
Yeah, but who won? Oh,
Yeah,
man, that's
even-
right. It was me.
Even with all of Trevor's trolling that he did, every bad card he threw on me, I still almost won that game. I give myself credit for that one. So, I don't like you, Kip. You can
Most
go
people
back
don't.
and we're gonna. I think one of these times, though, speaking of that game is so much fun. I really think we should try to plan a trip up to Minnesota one year so we can go to the Bacon Belt Championships.
That would be a blast.
I think that would be a lot of fun. I would be in for that one.
That way we could win the Bacon Belt.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that we'd actually win, but it would be a lot of fun to go up there and play that game with a bunch of people.
Yeah, the game, I think, says it can... Was it up to
think it's
6
up to
ranked players?
Yeah, I think it's
I
a
think-
good number.
I think the four is the most I've got to play on that game. It'd be interesting to play with 6 or 8 players. That'd be some cutthroat stuff going on.
I was gonna say there was a couple times when we were playing that I kind of like, I had a couple of cards that I wanted to play, but neither you or Trevor really had anything that it would have worked against, so I had to just hold on to them.
Oh yeah, I had, I don't know how many times I had, like, I could steal Babe the Ox from somebody, nobody ever drew it.
Yeah.
And then
So I
I
think
had,
if you have a lot more people, then the cards would go through a lot quicker. You get them out and play
exactly.
a lot more. Plus, you don't have some schmuck like me shuffling the cards. That might help too.
As long as you can admit it.
So
So that's what we did at lunch today, and Morph got owned. It was a beautiful thing. So hopefully I can continue my winning streak, because we have started a Formula D league at the office, which we ran our first race yesterday, and I finished in second. So out of 4 race car drivers, only 2 of us finished. Or no, 3 of us finished. 3 of us finished. We had one DNF pretty early in the race. He had to sit there the rest of the time and watch the rest of us have a good time.
Yeah, I don't. Did he even make it halfway through the race?
It was close, I think.
Well, for those of you that don't know about Formula D, it's one of those. It's a Euro game, is it not?
Hell, I don't know.
I think it would classify in that Euro game type thing, but you're basically it's a like a street course racing game where you've got these different cars, and you have a gear shift, which determines how much you roll the dice and how far you can actually move. So first gear is you can only move 1 or 2 spaces, and then second gear is more, so on and so forth, all the way up to 6th gear,
Yes.
which you can
is a
move up,
30-sided die, which is exciting.
which is kind of fun.
What does that look like?
It's really big.
That's what she said.
I mean, it's a big dice. It looks like one of those fake toy dice. It's so big.
It's like 3/4 of the size of a golf ball, I'd say.
Yeah.
And almost as many dimples.
Yeah. So, but it's it's kind of fun because you have to go. These turns are set up based off of like how big the turn is, and if it's an S turn or something, an S curve or something like that, you have to stop a certain number of times within the turn, and if you don't stop within that right amount within the turn, then you start taking wear points on your car, and if you run out of wear points, then your car blows up or the engine seizes or whatever kind of story mechanic you want to use, but you don't
Blows
get to
up,
finish.
blows up.
Yeah, you don't get to finish the race, and so it's kind of fun because it's that strategy of, I was in second place through most of the race. I took first place for a while, and was doing really good. I still had a lot of my wear points left, but when it came down to the end, everyone else managed their wear points differently, and they had enough to kind of blow through the last turn and jump ahead of me at the last moment. So I was in first going into the last turn and ended up in third. So yeah, it was really kind of fun.
Yeah, I passed you in the curve. That was the beauty of it.
Yeah. Well, and Eric, who was playing with us, he was so far behind us when we got to the halfway point of this lap that,
To the point I was feeling sorry for him.
yeah, we were looking at it going, wow, man, you really need to push it a little bit here. Just take some risk and lose some wear points to get through this thing. Catch up. And then all of a sudden, boom, he was past us. He was caught up, past us, and finished the race with still 2 wear points left, and was able to just fly through it. It's like it was pretty awesome to watch that happen.
Yeah, he's a structural engineer, which just means he's 100 times smarter than the rest of us, and he figured out when to use those wear points and smoked us.
Yeah, that was entertaining. I can't wait for the next race. Hopefully, I can do a little better. But
yeah, I need to buy like a couple of other boards, get a couple more road courses, but the 2 we got are pretty fun.
yeah, I agree. I think they're fun. I like them, and I just hope that it's kind of fun because since we're doing a league, you get points for first, second, third, fourth, and then your did not finishes, your DNFs. But so it's interesting because okay, yeah, I finished in third this time, but if I'm able to finish in first next time, there's a possibility I could jump up from being in third place in the standings to being first place in the standings. So it'd be kind of fun to just kind of watch that go up and down and who jumps around and what happens. And that's going to be entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see, how it all shakes out. Right now I'm in second place, but a couple of DNFs and who knows where I'll end up. So
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
excited about it.
One bad roll and all of a sudden you're sitting on the side watching.
Well, we did the other day. We did a rules run through. You weren't there, Morph.
Yeah.
And Trevor had like 12 wear points left, but he was way behind me. So he decided to pull out the 30-sided die, and he, of course, rolled a 30, went 22 spaces beyond the curve he blew up. If you're going to crash, you might as well burn, and that's what he did. It was a beautiful thing to watch.
I don't know how I feel about Trevor burning. I've never even met him.
Well, it's more of a figurative burning than a literal burning.
But I don't know if I should be happy or sad.
We're gonna have to get you together with Trevor and play some board games. So you'll have to meet this guy. He's a good guy.
I don't know. You guys have said that in the past.
Hey, and have I been wrong before?
Yeah, actually.
No. Wrong. Come on now.
Oh, more so humble.
I don't make mistakes. You guys just think they're wrong.
Right. So
there's no conceit in his family. He got it all.
right. So speaking of Mr. I Know Everything, Person of Interest season finale. What do you want to say?
I just want to say that show, it's been going on for a couple seasons now. The season finale I think was a couple weeks ago, but I just ended up watching it last night, and that show provided some twists and turns that I didn't see, but it brought up an idea to me that I hadn't ever really thought of. Um, for people that don't know, Person of Interest is about a show where this guy created a computer program that watches everything, monitors everything, and anticipates problems, anticipates crimes happening before they actually happen, based off of probabilities and histories and all the stuff that you're doing. And the the original idea is that this guy created it. He gave it to the government to predict terrorist attacks. They've been doing that, but what this machine is also doing is it predicts small crimes as well. But the government isn't, they can only do so much. They only have so many resources. So this guy has gone and uh, he's gone and recruited a few people to help him to try to help solve these or prevent these minor crimes, these things that aren't national security threats. And it ends up with the idea that there's this other terrorist group out there called Vigilance that's trying to stop this whole thing from happening. That the people, the government shouldn't be illegally watching, or these illegal wiretaps and this information is gathering. It's gathering illegally, just by watching stuff going through the internet cables, basically, and that they shouldn't be doing this at all, and they're trying to stop it. So it's interesting. They bring in this other group, this private company that's trying to get this same kind of machine going so that they can then make money off of it, and track the people that they want to track for their own reasons, plus help the government do what they want to do and get paid for it, type thing. So it's this interesting twist, but it just brings up this idea, that anyone could be watching us at any time doing anything and we don't know about it. And the season finale kind of brought up the idea that, hey, if somebody really wanted to monetize this thing, it could be as simple as, creating a
Hey guys, I'm Hallie Stevens.
creating a fake terrorist group that is just to create more threats so that they could then turn around and make it look like their system is more valuable than what it is. And I just thought that was kind of an interesting concept that it's not really a lot of the shows now. We talked about a couple weeks ago them not being thinking man's shows. They're they don't require a whole lot of intelligence to watch, but this is one of those shows that I think if people were to give it a chance, it doesn't require you to think, but if you want to start thinking about it, it really has some deep-seated implications to what's going on in the world now, and some of the stuff like this net neutrality stuff that's going on that could potentially this is not a far-fetched idea.
No, I think that they can do this. I think that they can do that now. I think that the computing power is getting to a point that predictability might be something that, everything in life is patterns, and I'm actually surprised that we're not further along with being able to predict things through behavior. I mean, they're already doing, things that, they start sending you advertising that is tailored to stuff. I think there was a thing on the news that, this guy got really, and it I don't know if it was just an article or if it actually was a news story. I think it was maybe an article, but like he started getting advertising for pregnancy stuff, and he started getting all pissed and talking to like people like, why the heck are you, sending me this advertisement and everything else? And it was that through buying patterns, they could calculate, that there was somebody pregnant in the house, and it ended up being that like his teenager was actually pregnant.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So, there is definitely predictability, through your buying patterns and stuff like that. And, I'm absolutely astonished that they haven't been able to, link like, hey, if this dude is taking, Xanax and, it's, this kind of person, maybe this person should not be purchasing a gun, like those databases are not already connected. It boggles my mind.
Well, I think that's the key right there, is that these databases aren't connected. There are these things here and there that are, these databases of information, and information seems to be the big, there's an information war going on now anyway. Google fights it, this net neutrality thing's fighting it, this, the government has had their fingers on this for a while now. But
you have access to it, though. There's a company that you can get. I think they have I think it's like up to 30,000 data points on each person in the U.S. or something like that. And and you can actually get a login to it, and they show you what it is. They show you, so you can have access to it yourself too.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Little eerie, but but I think some of it, this. At least Person of Interest has created it more as an AI program. The beginnings of artificial intelligence, that it can anticipate and think for itself. It can take these things and say, okay, this is, this is this and this is that, and together that makes this. Where, that not necessarily in interpolation, but more the inferences can infer things, which is a dangerous step, but it's really cool. It's a good show, and I've really liked it. I recommend people checking it out. It's definitely not your. If you want to just flip it on every once in a while, you're gonna find good episodes, but you're not gonna get the full thing unless you're watching every episode each week. You'll get it'll be a good story individually, but the overall arcing story that's run through the entire season, and really for the last couple seasons, is a step above what's being told in things like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and really what could have been for Almost Human if they would have kept it going. I think this show would have been very similar, different in that same mind trip type idea, the make you think about what's going on.
Interesting. Definitely something to chew on and think about and pay attention to and stay informed. So we talked about the Formula D that you guys are doing. I think that the two things that we wanted to talk about is just what could be the epic failure from Marvel.
Well, the biggest thing is, there a couple weeks ago, Edgar Wright was stepped down as the director for Ant-Man, which this is the guy who wrote this thing. This is the guy who's been tied to this movie since I think 2006. And now all of a sudden he's stepped down. And there's different rumors about why he stepped down, but the big thing now, or the article that I found today, was that another director has actually passed on this, has turned down doing this movie, and it's the director from that did Dodgeball and We're the Millers. That was a pretty big hit last year, or this last summer, and he's said he doesn't want to do it. I don't know what this means. I don't know if this is really nothing, or if this is Marvel stepping on some directors' toes and creating some tension for the first time publicly, and rubbing some directors the wrong way. If Marvel's stepping in and saying, you guys can't do this movie the way you want to do it, you have to do it the way we want you to do it, I don't know that's such a good thing. I mean, you hire directors to be directors for a reason.
To direct, perhaps?
Do
Maybe.
you really think that that's what's going on? It's just that the script is so crappy.
Well, but that Edgar Wright wrote the script. If he thought it was that crappy, why did he write it, and why didn't he just change it?
I don't know. Maybe they told them, well, you cannot do this story, and that crumbled everything that he wanted to do.
And that could be, but that's the part that worries me, is why is Marvel stepping in to somebody and saying, no, you can't do this, you have to do this? Because DC did that and it didn't work. It hasn't worked.
Well, I'd rather them, keep on going until they find the correct director, rather than doing something really shitty.
I agree, and I hope that this is still good, but I kind of wonder if this is the beginning of the end. If this movie is supposed to be coming out in 2015, July 17th, 2015, and they don't have a director. I mean,
we're have to push it back.
Yeah, we're talking about a year away. I mean, that's pretty big, so it's probably going to get moved, but what's going on that these directors are saying no, they don't want to do this? There's got to be something there. It's kind of that if there's smoke there's fire type thing.
Well, and that's the other thing that you wanted to talk about, which is, a movie getting pushed back is probably going to get either reshot, or what do you think is going to happen with that?
The Jupiter Ascending has been pushed back to 2015. That one there's very little information on exactly why it's getting pushed back.
It's not a good sign, though. Anytime they move a movie to February, which is the dumping ground, it's not a good sign. That means that movie bombed in their testing or whatever you call it.
Well, but maybe the article that I put on there that's actually on the Major Spoilers website, which is a site that I love going to, and it's got a lot of good writers on it. But they bring up a pretty good point in that it used to be that February was a terrible month. However, what came out this last February that was a huge blockbuster success, and that was the Lego Movie. Do the Wachowski brothers, who have done really good movies, think that maybe this could be the next Lego Movie for February and be a huge blockbuster success in a month when there is nothing?
I don't know. I'm leaning more towards what Kip is saying, that they're just trying to dump it, that they probably tested the movie and it's too complex. There's too much stuff going on and people don't get it. Because one of the things that, so the Wachowski brothers borrowed tons of stuff from anime. And one of the reasons that anime is not, widely popular as an entertainment form is that some of the storylines can be kind of convoluted. And you need patience. Like, a lot of, when you talk to somebody that's an anime fan, you're like, oh, no, you got to wait until episode 23 before you can really get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some
Yeah, I
people
know what you
don't
mean.
have that kind of patience.
Apparently not. That's why Almost Human died.
Yeah. That wasn't... that gripped me from day one.
Yeah.
Me too.
I still have, I have hopes that Jupiter Ascending is going to be really good. And it could also be that there is a good possibility that it's getting pushed back because of visual effects. Wachowski brothers have never skimped on visual effects. The Matrix was a step above anyone else at the time it came out. Cloud Atlas was amazing when it came to the visual effects in that movie. it could be that they just need some more time to clean up, the effects on this and make it a little better. But I agree. I mean, you guys have valid points. I can't argue with you.
Damn right.
I just hope that it's not the case, because I don't want that movie to suck. The trailers look really good.
Yeah, I'm just hoping they're taking the time to CGI out those stupid pointy ears they gave Channing Tatum.
Oh, God.
It looks dumb. I mean, I have no problem with him playing a half elf type of character, but still, it looks bad. Even by my standards, and I'll watch anything.
I know you watch the Bigfoot crap.
I do.
All right, so you guys want to be freaked out by data collection?
Sure.
So here are some of the biggest names that are collecting data on you right now, and I think a couple of them you can recognize, and I'll probably say the ones that I think are more recognizable. And one is called Axiom. I think people have heard of that before, and I think people have heard of PQ and Intellius. Those are pretty well known. But there's another company called CoreLogic. There's a DataLogix, eBureau, ID Analytics, RapLeaf, and Recorded Future, and those are just like the top 9 data brokers that they have. And they have the type of data that they have is like identifying data, sensitive identifying data, which means Social Security, driver's license, demographic data, which is just normal stuff, but includes stuff like religion, language, marital status. If you have elderly parents, if you're a Spanish speaker, if you're foreign, court and public record data, social media and technology data, electronic purchases, friend connections, level of usage, heavy Facebook user, heavy Twitter user, influencer, let's see, use of long distance calling. So they have all that information. Home and neighborhood data, from like the places around you and everything. I was like, this is more like house stuff.
Yeah.
General interest data, apparel preferences, attendance at sporting events, charitable giving, gambling casinos, thrifty elders.
Interesting.
Pets, dog owner, political leaning, assimilation code.
Were you talking about the Borg here? Is that what's
pretty
going on?
much. Prefer celebrities, prefer movie genres, prefer music genres. If you're a donor, if you're a financial newsletter subscriber, upscale retail car holder, affluent baby boomer, working class moms, like these are all data points. They have financial data, they have vehicle data, travel data, that's pretty standard. Purchase behavior data, amount spent on goods, buying activity, method of payment, number of orders, buying channel preferences, like if you do internet, mail, or phone. They have the last time that you order something online, the last time that you order something offline.
Now, how
you
do
have your health data.
How
Can I
do they
contact these companies and ask them where I put my remote?
You will be able to eventually. Actually, there's some stuff going on right now so a lot of people don't pay attention to this type of stuff, but there's actually legislation that that is trying to get passed so that these companies have to disclose exactly what information they have on you. Because right now some of them do. Like it's not required yet, but some of them do. That you can go ahead and get access to your own information, kind of like you get your credit report. But it's just really easy because a lot of this data. So I guess full disclosure, I know how to get most of this data just because I've worked in companies that work with this type of databases before. So most of this data is actually readily available. You just got to know where to find it because some of it is just public. The databases are public, and you just go and you just do the correct query and get that information.
Yeah.
So, but some of it is quote unquote not public, but is when you sign one of those like when you get a one of those online things. Click here, and one of the things that you can check is, do you allow for us to share data with our partners? Blah 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 blah.
Right.
So like if one of these companies becomes a partner with, let's say, your grocery store, they would have all of your grocery store shopping every single time that you use your little, like
No, your
rewards card.
frequent shopper
Yeah,
card. Or,
the frequent shopper card. So every single time that you use your frequent shopper card, that put that transaction with who you are, and that can collect a lot of information for you. I mean, they can know what time of the month you buy tampons.
I don't buy tampons.
Yeah, I think you do. With as much as moody as you are.
Whoa. Who's the one here that hates life right now? Not me. I'm good.
He says that even with his mother-in-law has got him in the kitchen doing the podcast this time.
Yeah,
exactly.
You got kicked to the kitchen.
It's only temporary.
He lost his man cave privileges.
I know, you got kicked out of your man cave for the
I didn't lose my privileges. I just have somebody sleeping in it right now.
You can use it. You lost your privileges.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Making fun of you. Make it all feel better.
By the way, we had somebody post on our Q&A. Jaime, he says hi. So hello.
Hi.
Hello, Jaime.
Thanks for listening. Sorry about this. Sorry about Morph.
Well, why is it that we always get like Spanish speakers?
It's your influence.
I think it is.
But
Well, he posted some stuff in Spanish, but I don't know how to read Spanish, so.
So nobody else can see it.
You guys can't see it?
I can see it. It just says "tell me something," and he's just like.
Is that what that?
Yeah, like.
Algo faux.
Yeah, tell me something.
Okay.
Well, we told you something.
Spanish lessons by Geek Vice.
I think, but maybe I don't know, because it's been the second time. I think that if you start using Hangouts for the first time or something, and this is when they're getting online, they might be like, oh, these are the active things, and it's like, oh, look, there's 3 guys active in the Hangout right now. And people are like, oh, let me click on that.
Rocking out.
I want to feel better about myself. I'll watch these losers.
Could be.
What are you saying? I have a wonderful life in my kitchen.
Right. And
Where the beer is.
I'm allergic to your bullshit, obviously.
Well played.
Nicely played.
All right.
Man.
Any last thoughts before we close this?
No, beer's good.
Since every single one of our curses is hovering over the closing title.
Yeah, it's about that time.
Yeah.
Check out our blog, geekvice.blogspot.com. Follow us on Twitter @geekvice, Google plus Geekvice, Facebook. Go hit that like button. Make us a part of your, I don't know, reach. Follow Mr. Kip.
Give us a reach around. Come on.
Follow Kip on Twitter @KipKillagan. Follow Loktar on Twitter @Loktar. Morph continues to be completely worthless because he hasn't joined Twitter yet. Someday I won't have to say that anymore.
Hold on now. What is a good Twitter app for my phone?
I like Carbon. Carbon is probably the lightest and the coolest looking because it's all dark. So it's not like super intrusive. It's just called Carbon. The other one is TweetDeck.
Like with an E on the end?
No, just Carbon.
Yeah, I don't have that one. It's not available on my phone.
You have a Windows phone, you're screwed.
I have a Windows phone.
Then Seismic, or on your Windows phone, TweetDeck. TweetDeck should have an app.
Tweetbox.
I've never used that one.
Deck.
You could get TweetDeck is probably the best one.
Nope, not there.
Wow. Well, let me use this magical thing called Google and see what happens.
That Google guy knows everything.
Twitter apps. All right, if I can find a good, well, there's a Twitter app. Would that be a good one?
I think the Twitter app is probably the one that comes from Twitter, but there's one called Tweetium, the best Twitter app available on Windows 8.
All right, well, I'll see if
Tweetium. So
I'll look up Tweetium. If I can find a good app for my phone,
you'll join Twitter.
Then I might actually get on Twitter.
And then we'll be happier for it. So anyway, thanks everybody.
Completely derailed the end of the show.
I know. It's like I'm trying to close the show and you just make it horrible.
I do.
You're welcome.
That's me. I make everything horrible. What do you want from me?
I know. You're like the skunk beer of the show.
Whoa. Ouch. For the guy who drinks the beer, that hurts. Maybe I won't join Twitter, or I'll join Twitter just so I can bash Logtar on Twitter.
Well, there you go. There's some motivation.
All right, end this show, man. Come on.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to us today. And if you want to send us hate mail or just pretty much say anything you want, you can reach us on geekvice@gmail.com.
Send me a dirty joke. I'll read it on the air.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank you, guys, and good night.
Good night.
Bye.